So either we or someone has some real legitimate groundbreaking technology, or someone's visiting us from somewhere else. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's one of the, because now there's enough data that show that these things are moving in a way that they can't understand. There's video that they're moving in a way they can't understand. They're not showing a heat signature from visible means of propulsion. It's not like a rocket. It's like whatever they're doing something different. Commander David Fravor, who you talked to, that Tic Tac experience, if they really did track something that went from above 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 feet in less than a second, what the fuck is that? Like, if that's real, we're assuming that all their calibration was on and all their equipment worked together, but it was multiple different visual sightings of this thing too. Different jets saw it, different people, uniform story. Everybody's talked about how it just moved off at insane rates of speed. And then there's all these other ones like Ryan Long and all these other people that he flew with that are seeing these similar behaviors from these things where they just disappear. Mm-hmm. They move off at insane rates of speed. So it's one of two things. Either he said there's been some sort of parallel science, some science that's going on where nobody knew about it, and all the top physicists were completely unaware of this tech. And they were developing it independently in some fucking lab in the mountains for the government, or aliens, or
well, there's a
something.
bunch of other options, and one thing is, I just talked to David Kipping. It's just I highly recommend his YouTube channel, Cool Worlds. He's a legit. That's like Huberman. You sometimes get these like legit scientists who are also good communicators. They'll step up.
Oh, nice.
So he's like the Huberman of astronomy. Young guy. You'll probably have him on eventually. I'm betting.
Sure.
There's.
I'll have him on.
He's brilliant. Definitely check out his channel. Anyway, he's an astronomer, so he's deep in the astronomy, astrophysics community, and he says, and you've said this before too, is he tries to really hard not to think about stuff he wants to be true, like
right.
Be very kind of calibrated properly, because with the UFO sightings, there is a part of you. I don't know why exactly, but you kind of want it to be true.
Not kinda. Like all the way.
All the way. Especially because the intelligence agencies are probably resisting this UFO stuff.
If I was an evil dictator,
yeah,
and I wanted to get my government to have control over the skies and to be able to see anything from anywhere at any time, and I wanted to like have mass surveillance drones in the sky above cities, a good way would be aliens. We have to capture these things on video, and there's only one way. We're going to deploy these high-resolution video cameras in the sky and capture everything. And there's sightings every day. It won't be a matter of time before we have real high-resolution photo of something we can definitively prove is not ours, is not of this earth.
Well, do you think
people would sign the fuck up?
Do you think there's that much excitement about aliens? Like, I'm not like it's ultimately why are aliens so interesting? Because to me, philosophically and scientifically, it's a super interesting question.
Yeah.
Like, just even the question, are we alone? That's really exciting. But it's not, do you think people would vote to pay for that? Advanced alien civilizations are probably so sophisticated that we dumb descendants of apes cannot possibly even detect them.
I have a feeling there's all sorts of ways that they could be. And some of them could be undetectable. They're They might be made of light. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But other ones are going to be just a little bit ahead of us. There's an infinite number of them.
Yeah,
and there's going to be an infinite number of ones. Sure they will.
He seems pretty confident about that. I mean, I guess I hope so, right? But back to Lex's point there, we might not have the capabilities to comprehend them. But also referring to my last video, we can't always use that as a cop-out answer, because we need to evaluate and build a model for how we can understand things in the future and how we can advance, rather than just saying, oh, well, we don't have the capabilities, so let's not look that way, right? It almost puts a gridlock on ourselves, a limit to ourselves. But evaluating what aliens might be like is a very philosophical question, because it allows us to better understand our own human nature and what the inherent nature of the universe is. What if aliens combine, they're nothing like us, and we realize, wow, our tendencies, our condition is actually not at all synonymous with a nature of life, a blueprint of life itself. Or it might be exactly, we might find so many parallels that allow us to really understand, wow, a lot of our conditioning, a lot of the ways that our brains are formed, a lot of the ways that we interact with each other another are simple faculties of how life evolves over time. I think understanding a more advanced and sophisticated being would give us those answers in terms of, wow, are we doing things in accordance to natural evolution or not? And if it is natural, what is or what is not important about that? Because it assumes if it's unnatural that there's something that has been an appendage to our evolution that we're focusing on more than our evolution itself, meaning that maybe because we have such an affinity towards pleasure and our reward systems that we're only doing things and building things to keep pressing that button within our brain, but it has nothing to do with our advancement or our understanding of life as a species.